Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a look at Sirfetch'd. Sirfetch'd is one of those cards that really jumped out from me when we looked at VMAX Rising, and I am absolutely delighted to say that it is a good card. And I've got a winning deck list to show you. And everything is good and right in the world again. Shout out to the lovely Talonite X over on Twitter for helping us out, hooking us up with a list. So Galarian Sirfetch'd then. We can do 40 damage for 1 fighting energy, but that don't impress me much. But 1 fighting, 2 colorless, we do 180 damage. But for as long as it remains your active Pokemon, you cannot use that same attack. This isn't the you can't attack next turn. It is, you cannot use this attack until you go to the bench and come active again. Okay, fair enough. But we've seen as a million Pokemon in the past having to go to the bench and come back active. That's not a huge problem. I don't think we're going to particularly worry about it. So, we're good. We're good. So that's quite nice. And essentially our goal here is to just hit 180 turn after turn after turn after turn and then win the game. And that really is the goal. We don't really have a backup attacker like that. We don't really have anything else. The entire deck is built around Sirfetch'd. And the entire deck is designed to have Sirfetch'd doing his thing. But that's alright by me, ladies and gentlemen. That's alright by me. Now, in terms of other Pokemon, the most prevalent, the most important of them is Cinccino. You see, Cinccino does 2 things brilliantly well. First, we've got the ability that once during your turn lets you discard a card from your hand to draw 2 cards. That's quite good. And then secondly, we've got an attack for 1 colorless energy that does 40 damage, and you get to attach an energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. And essentially, any time in the game you don't have sufficient energy to be attacking with Sirfetch'd, this is what you use. This is how you fix it up nicely. And that's why we love Cinccino. We love both parts of Cinccino here. It is here for energy acceleration, and poking away a little bit helps as well. And it is here for the ability that lets you draw cards. Both these things are absolutely vital. I know that Sirfetch'd itself is new, but if we didn't have Cinccino, I don't think the deck would work. But we also play Miss Maji Us here. Now, there's a couple things Miss Maji Us does. Firstly, I mean, look, it's all about the ability here. You KO it, give your opponent a prize, and then draw until you have 7 cards in your hand. So firstly, we are drawing. Drawing is good. But secondly, we are KOing Miss Maji Us here. And the reason we're KOing Miss Maji Us is to put ourselves behind on prizes. And the reason we're putting ourselves behind on prizes is Karate Belt. If you're behind on prizes, this allows you to reduce your attack cost by 1 fighting energy. It's perfect. Now, we're not actually playing Duskstone here. But remember, you've got to take a turn to evolve up Sirfetch'd, so there's no real reason to get Miss Maji Us going turn 1. You might as well get the turn 2 Miss Maji Us, and essentially, if you need to be behind on prizes and you're not, use the ability. If, however, you don't need to be behind on prizes, or you already are, don't use Miss Maji Us's ability. Outside of that, we've just got a couple of Prism Star Pokemon. We've got Ditto Prism Star. It can evolve into any stage 1. You have a main attacking stage 1, a support stage 1, and another stage 1. That makes Ditto pretty good. In fact, the only non-stage 1 Pokemon we have in the deck, or Pokemon that evolves into a stage 1, is Diancie Prism Star, and that's there because it lets you do an extra 20 damage. And this is very important, because you need to be doing the extra damage. 180 is absolutely fine if you're against a Blacephalon, or if you're against a Keldeo, or if you're hitting for weakness, even if you're hitting weakness against the biggest, baddest Pokemon in the game, even if you're against a Snorlax V Max, 180 doubles to 360 and you're good, you'll get the KO. But outside of that, you might need to do a little bit of extra damage. That's why Diancie Prism Star comes in. Now, in terms of the energy, obviously fighting energy is quite important here, but make no mistake about it, it's twin energy. This is the other thing without which the deck just wouldn't stand a chance. You need twin energy. It is 2 colourless energy, like double colourless energy, as long as it is attached to a non-GX, non-V Pokemon. It's rather wonderful. And that's how you use it here. And either you're using Cinccino to accelerate a little bit of energy, or you've had a turn to attach a fighting energy, or you're using Karate Belt. So the first Sirfetch'd, you've probably just attached a fighting energy turn 1, and then a twin energy. But outside of that, if you are behind on prizes, out comes Karate Belt. If you're not behind on prizes, out comes Cinccino. And hopefully you've got twin energy. When you're out of twin energy, because you can only play 4 and we don't have a good card to recover them at the moment, that's when you need to go a little bit heavier into Cinccino and cross your fingers your opponent isn't too far ahead. Now, in terms of trainer cards, there are a few that are particularly important. One of them we previously mentioned is Karate Belt. The other one is Martial Arts Dojo. This is, and we see this a lot with fighting decks. You kind of want to be behind. Mostly fringe decks, to be fair, but still, you want to be behind. Martial Arts Dojo gets you extra damage. Karate Belt gives you the cheaper attack, but Martial Arts Dojo gives you the extra damage. I mean, the best Pokemon at the moment is Zacian V, and I don't think that's a particularly controversial statement. 220 HP. So you need to be hitting 220. So if you're behind on prizes, boom, Martial Arts Dojo, there's your KO. It's pretty gosh darned important. And then, of course, with Martial Arts Dojo and Diancie Prism Star, assuming you're behind on prizes, you're actually then hitting up to 240, and that's kind of wonderful. Yes, Vitality Band would be awesome. No, you can't play Vitality Band, purely because you've got to play Karate Belt, which doesn't really give you room in the deck for Vitality Band. I love Vitality Band. I love the extra damage. But it doesn't actually really hit any numbers. There's rarely a huge difference between 240 and 250, and you need Karate Belt. It really is as simple as that. Elsewhere, in terms of trainers, we need to be switching in and out. Remember, Galarian Sirfetch'd attacks and then has to go to the bench. So we play multiple Switch and multiple Air Balloon. Sirfetch'd has a retreat cost of 2, and Cinccino has a retreat cost of 1, and Diancie has a retreat cost of 2. So as long as you play an Air Balloon, you can free retreat any of your Pokemon whenever you like. That's a very good thing indeed. You need to get out of the active so you can get back in and keep smashing. The other thing we love here is Rosa, because you're playing a single prize deck, which means you're going to have more Pokemon KO'd before you lose, which means that having a supporter card that if you had a Pokemon KO'd lets you grab an energy and a trainer and a Pokemon is going to be very, very advantageous. We also have to play Guzma and Hala. That's very important here because you're relying on twin energy, and it is the best we've got in terms of actually being able to search out your twin energy. Also searches a stadium and a tool, which can be super helpful. You basically get Karate Belt and twin energy and Martial Arts Dojo in one go. If you're behind on prizes and you play a Guzma and Hala, you get everything you need to start smashing. We like Guzma and Hala. We also do see a couple of Ordinary Rod here because, again, I've said this a few times, we are really relying on Sirfetch'd here. We are going full bore Sirfetch'd. That means that we need to be able to recover Sirfetch'd to the point where we're just using Sirfetch'd every single turn. What we cannot be doing is having several turns without it. There'll be some turns where you want to use Cinccino, but we never want to be forced into using Cinccino. That's fairly important. So having this here is going to be an absolute bonus for getting that going. And then we've got a lot of stuff we would expect. 4 Quick Ball, 4 Evolution Incense to search out our Pokemon is exactly what we would expect. You're seeing that in a lot of decks up to now. You can expect to see it in a whole bunch more moving forward. We've got a mixture of Professor's Research and Marnie to act as your supporters for the turn, and they are the best ones. So of course we're going to be playing them. They're amazing. We're playing 4 custom catcher for the gusting, allowing us to gust anything, but we're also playing 1 great catcher, so if we do come against a deck whereby they are relying on EXs and GXs, we've got a guaranteed gusting here, which can be really good. We only need the 1, and especially given we can search it out with Rosa quite easily, but it's fairly important. And then slightly unusually, 1 copy of Shrine of Punishment. And the reason here is really simple. I've told you we're not quite hitting the numbers. Even with your martial arts dojo and your Diancie Prism Star, you're maxing out at 240. So being able to have Shrine of Punishment down for a couple of turns while you accelerate energy with Cinccino, whittling these Pokemon down can be huge. Although, as I've said, don't sleep on using Cinccino to put Pokemon into range while you accelerate energy. I love this deck. I absolutely love this deck. I am a complete sucker for fighting decks, alright? I know that. I completely understand, but I don't even care. This is exactly my kind of deck, and if we didn't have Cinccino and we didn't have Twin Energy, blah blah blah, it wouldn't be good, but we do. So it is, and I for one am absolutely delighted. But I would very much like to know what you think about this, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WasiPlays, where you can find out about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in, but we love them nonetheless. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.